Universe, Demolishing and Rebuilding Spirituality for a Scientific Age by Darryl Sloan. In memory of Aristarchus. Introduction. The search for truth is not for everyone. It is not for those who accept without question the beliefs they inherited by accident of birth. It is not for those whose natural tendency is to mimic the thoughts and attitudes of their peers. It is not for those who are afraid to be different. It is not for those who need the approval of others to maintain their own happiness. It is not for those who only have ears for what makes them feel good. It is not for those who think they already know and need never change their minds. In short, it's not for a lot of people. This book is primarily for anyone who feels frustrated, angry, or confused in the task of figuring out what life is all about. It is a love letter to the person I used to be, someone whose anxieties and sorrows are undoubtedly mirrored in the experiences of others, perhaps you. This is my attempt to lend a helping hand to anyone who has intuitively felt, to borrow a line from the movie The Matrix, a splinter in your mind. In the following pages you will not find a dogmatic, unchangeable belief system. In fact, you will come to understand that the notion of an ideological endpoint is untenable. I offer nothing that will transform you from unenlightened to enlightened, asleep to awake, or lost to saved. Learning is a curve, not a switch that flips from off to on, and you will shortly see that the idea of salvation, by whatever name it is called, is an illusion. That said, the level of your understanding has a powerful effect on your personal happiness, ethical values, and sense of purpose. If you see man as little more than a speck of dust in a vast impersonal universe, that's going to affect your whole outlook on life. If you view yourself as a poor sinner dependent on the mercy of a divine lawgiver, that will also mold your life in a dramatic way. It is of no small importance to figure out where man stands in relation to the wider universe, for the sake of your happiness and, in some extreme cases, your very sanity. My broad aim is to state a rational case for a philosophical viewpoint known as monism, sometimes called non-dualism or non-duality. This is the idea that everything is one. Nothing is truly separate from anything else. Beyond appearances, the universe is one singular essence, not a collection of many separate things. The mind is not separate from the body, nor is the body separate from the universe, nor is the universe separate from whatever we mean by God. At present, you may be skeptical of how we might arrive at such a conclusion without a reliance on mysticism or an intuitive leap of faith. You might also wonder what practical benefit there would be in holding such an unusual worldview. Wait and see. Our first task will be to undo the social conditioning we've all inherited. Each person is, to one extent or another, a product of his upbringing. How many of us have thoroughly examined the veracity of all that we were conditioned to believe as children, through our parents, local religious institution, education authority, media, and culture? A quest for truth must begin with the unmasking of our unconscious assumptions and the withdrawing of our trust in unquestioned ideas. We must also identify and armor ourselves against the many psychological ploys that are used to manipulate our minds. After freeing ourselves, the challenge is then to rationally examine the world as it truly appears to us, not as we would like it to be. Using philosophy and science, putting aside all prejudice and wishful thinking, we will attempt to synthesize a perspective that has the potential of getting closer to the truth than anything on offer within the various dogmatic belief systems of the world. I will share insights about the mind and the nature of reality that most people are entirely unaware of. Some big surprises are in store, especially regarding what you take for granted as your identity. Perhaps most surprisingly of all, I will delve into parapsychology and the occult, principally as an attempt to demonstrate that consciousness plays a much more significant role in the universe than contemporary science is willing to entertain. Extrasensory perception, psychokinesis, magic, are such phenomena real, And if so, what do they teach us about who we are and how the universe works? It's rare to find someone whose belief system hasn't become like a stone inside his mind, hard and non-malleable. But guess what? It's really just a choice. When you hear new and challenging information, don't say, how can I somehow bend this to fit into what I already believe? Say, what do I currently believe that I need to amend in light of this new information? When my cherished beliefs are attacked, my natural response is to jump to their defense, with stubbornness, pride, and fear cheering me on. It's right there that I need to reel myself back in and say, hold on a minute, maybe it's me who needs to learn something from you. The most productive mentality you can have is simply this: always, always, always have a worldview that doesn't resist change. Go wherever the information leads you without fear, because surely the truth is never something to dread. If you employ this approach to learning, there is no guarantee nor any necessity that you will end up embracing exactly the same worldview that I hold. In fact, it may help me if you differ. Then you can show me the points where I've got it wrong, and we both benefit. Isn't that refreshing?